I thought I could actually change shirts between every episode, and it would look like it's a different day.
I mean, like I always have clothes. I'm a rolling closet.
Okay, so we could pretend that we didn't record these back to back, but
like today, I think we're fine.
All right, because it's the beginning. All right, hey, it's the Krisha and Frank show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Krisha Brooke.
And let me turn down the theme music that I got for free from Podbean, which is where you can find our podcast on the Podbean.
It's funny when you're saying, I'm going to start the music, I start dancing like I can hear it.
Well, actually, I think I have some headphones. You could, if you want, we could plug in headphones.
It's fine. I just think it's funny that I'm dancing to music that I can't hear.
Well, it's very reminiscent of that kind of Disney parade, or just
my heart.
I went through. They had a lot of sad and sappy, syrupy music, and they had, the other one was like the king is arriving or something like that. I thought it was really going to be religious. No, it's very Game of Thrones. It's like dun dun dun. Very.
That's that. Why aren't we starting with that?
Well, we can do an episode where we start with that one. I mean, they're all in there. I just picked the one that was called Coconut Beach because I liked it.
And hey, if you're listening to this and you're a musician,
oh my, yeah,
and Frank and I are both improvisers. And we could improvise our own theme song to your music.
Maybe I could send it to Faustino Solis.
Do you
know him?
I do not.
He came to the GIF the year that you weren't there, and he did the musical improv. He's in Vegas. That's what he does. He's a musical improviser.
Nice.
He's fantastic.
And that's if you are a musician and you would like to, if you're inspired, if you're so inspired.
We got Tennessee musicians. This is the cradle of country music. We got right here.
Do you remember back in the day?
Probably not.
I'm sure you do. You may not have even lived in Tennessee.
Days?
How
many days back?
Is back in the day.
All right, what?
There was a commercial that a TV station would play here in town, and the song, I can't remember who wrote it, but she's lovely, and it was like, Tennessee roads winding down to the place that's my hometown.
Was it a Channel 10 commercial?
It was. It was a straight from the heart.
I've seen it like on YouTube because I was watching, or maybe it was on the Tennessee archives of Moving Image or something like that. I feel like I've seen it, but I saw it when it was retro. And I saw it on YouTube
after the
fact. Like, remember this.
And it was that song plays in my head very often.
Really?
And it's just it's not Christabel and the Johns, but it's somebody like that. And I'm so sorry if it's you. I apologize. I should know your name.
Well, we can Google you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or you can just, if you're listening, by some happenstance or miracle that you're catching the second episode of the Krisha and Frank show, then just send us a song. We'll take it.
Why aren't you catching the second episode if you're not?
Well, we're trying to get the word out. So if you are listening to this, please do send it to a friend. Like us, subscribe to us. Especially on the YouTubes, you can see us sitting here on the podcast porch.
Being weirdos.
Or on all the soundy things. You can listen in your car as you're driving. That's kind of where my goal for this was to create, our goal, I shouldn't say mine, because we talked about this yesterday.
Sorry, my elbow. Apologies.
The goal would be to create a show that's just the right length that you could listen to it in your car when you're driving to work and driving home from work. Because I've got the Apple CarPlay.
Ooh.
I'm all about the Apple CarPlay. I push the podcast button and I listen to the thing.
Not sponsored by Apple CarPlay.
Oh, all right. Well, then you can get the Google CarPlay. They also have it.
They do.
They have both. Depending on what your phone is, it doesn't matter. The car doesn't care. Because the car is just a screen in the car.
Yeah, sure.
And whatever you've plugged into it goes from your phone onto the screen.
I can't plug anything into my car.
You can barely plug a gas hose into your car. I mean,
buddy.
That doesn't have a crank up front,
One, my driver's side window doesn't roll down.
Is it a crank window or
electric?
It is a crank,
and I broke the crank off.
Oh,
so
they used to say that in the radio. Turn it up and break the crank off.
Well,
rip the knob off. Break the crank off.
My car, I love my car. It was free.
This is good.
It was free. This is part of my coming into middle age that we talked about in episode 1 of where things matter and things don't matter. And do you know what doesn't matter? What car you drive.
True. No, I mean, I was fortunate enough that I was able to buy a new car because I needed one after a long time.
I have not seen your new car.
What? No. Has it been that long?
It's been that long.
Oh my God. Well, see, all right, the topic for today's show, which we always get to in the second half, is going to be the exercising that we've accidentally fallen into during the pandemic.
Right.
The running and the lifting.
The lifting.
So you do the running, I've been doing the lifting. And we'll get to that after the break. But in the host chat part, we can talk about whatever we want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the car, last time you were here, so my old car wasn't like junked in the driveway the last time you were here. That I shouldn't even admit to you that it was there. But if you were to Google map my house, and then switch to satellite image, which isn't really satellite, by the way, it's just aerial photography.
Right.
I've read articles on this. They just call it satellite because it's easier for people to understand. But actually, planes fly over your house and take pictures for Google. The same way they drive up and down your street and take pictures. Well, my old car, my year 2000 Honda. Remember it?
Oh, I do.
Okay, well, the windows didn't work. The air conditioning thankfully did still work, but then the oil leaked and it overheated and all of the things that were wrong.
But you drove the wheels off of that car 1,000 times over.
Oh yeah, I had over 100,000 miles on it easily. I can't remember the total number, but
and that's a lot. Like for some people that are over 100,000 miles, but you have to know Frank, and you have to know that typically, like
on a typical day, I would put 8 miles on the car.
Right.
Yeah, 4 miles to work, 4 miles home.
Right. And so for some people, when you're like, I had over 100,000 miles, they're like,
so
whoopity-doo. But when you're only putting 8 miles, averaging 8 miles a day, that's a lot.
Well, when I had a temporary job in Pigeon Forge, we can talk about at some point, that put a lot more miles on the new car.
That'll do it.
So I thought, I've had this car for 18 years. It's time.
It's time.
It's time. So I wish I had the foresight to tow it, drag it. However, I did take it up to Johnson City because the only way I could find the car that I wanted, the type of cheapest possible new-ish car that I could get, was in Johnson City. So if I had only just thought to get my old car there on the back of a flatbed truck, it would have been worth it because I could have traded it in and not worried about it. Instead, it sat in the driveway for so long that it's on Google Maps. They whited it out. It looks like
they blurred it.
No, it looks like
it's so bad.
No, I'm not. No. It looks like someone took liquid paper and whited out the car.
Was it just to protect your license plate, I guess?
It's an aerial photo.
Wow.
You can't see the license. The back of the license plate was in the fig tree. It was backed up into the fig tree. You couldn't, it was like a junker car.
That's how I got my car.
Some of the neighbors started talking to me after it went away, saying, I noticed you. Get rid of your car. That's nice.
So how did you finally get rid of your car?
Well, I had my new car so long that it was time for replacement tires.
Oh, my gosh.
This is how long it was. I needed new tires on the new car. And I was told by my guy, he said, oh yeah, go to this place. They'll get you a good deal on Michelin's because my mechanic is a little snobby. He listens to NPR.
Oh, well.
I know. But he would only service my car if I bought Michelin's. But he told me I could get a good deal.
Oh my gosh.
They only work on Hondas and Lexus and Toyota and Acura, or whatever the combination is. Like Honda, Acura, Toyota, Lexus.
Right.
If you don't have one of those, they will not even talk to you.
Okay. Well, I have a 2003 Ford Focus. So.
My wife has a Hyundai.
Hyundai,
as they say in Ireland, and they won't see her.
That's so
funny.
So
she wants to get rid of the Hyundai just to get back into the Honda Toyota family so that she can go to these mechanics again.
That's fantastic.
That's how good they are. But they're snobs. They listen to NPR in the place.
You mean it's not Steely Dan over and over again?
I guess they do. He loves the old rock. So he listens to that, but he listens to some station in Middle Tennessee called the Moose, the Bear. I don't know, whatever it is. I can't remember. And anyway, so I go to the place to get the tires, and it also happens to be a body shop or something like that. And then weeks still go by. I'm now getting the rebates for the Michelin tires in the mail, which is why I went there. And it occurs to me, I should call those guys and see if they can recommend anybody to come help me get rid of the car. Because I was thinking I would donate it to NPR because that would be fitting.
Right. Yeah.
You know, the guy who'd worked on it for all those years, right? He might appreciate that. Maybe I get some kind of discount. So I call this place and they're like, well, what kind of car is it? You know, we have we take junkers. We
Mhm.
you know we're basically that's the name of the place. I don't know. It's something.
We take junkers.
It's something body shop, junkyard, whatever it is, and tires
Mhm.
and new tires. And I described the car to them, and they're like, "Well, we can give you $200."
Okay.
I said, "Oh, all right." And they said, "We'll be right over." They came within 45 minutes. They were here.
Wow.
Within 45 minutes of me making the call, the car was gone.
Whoa.
And I'm just watching it go away, and I thought, well, that was quick and sudden, and
Why didn't I do this before?
And this was since pandemic time. You know, I had
Right.
to put on my mask to go talk to the guy
Yeah.
as he hauled the car away. So talk about loss again, but at least now when Google Maps takes a new picture of the neighborhood,
They won't have to blur out your
that's not
eyesore.
even blurred. It's like they took a
That's
white.
weird. I want to look at this.
We're going to.
Okay.
I'll pull it up. It's so horribly weird, but it's time for the break and time for the fake commercial.
Yeah.
So I've got one in mind, or do you want to do yours?
No, you go ahead with your fake commercial.
All right, because the fake commercial today is for my friends at bonezones.com.
Ooh. Okay.
Bonezones.com.
Uh-huh.
Don't forget the S. Is the official website for Dr. Bill Bass
Mm-hmm.
and all of his autographed merchandise.
That is definitely not what I thought it was.
At bonezones.com, you can buy autographed copies of all the Jefferson Bass books.
Mhm.
And when I finish writing my book, I hope to also sell it through bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. And you can buy Dr. Bass t-shirts. You can buy posters, all sorts of business at bonezones.com.
It's my favorite fake commercial.
It's the bonezoniest.
Is it?
Well, I mean, have you seen it? Have you pulled it up? Have you pulled up Bone
Don't
Zones?
forget the S.
Do not forget the S. So, yes, it's lovely, the Bone Zones.
Yeah.
And you also, I'm on there. My bio is on there.
Oh.
I am the official MC for Dr. Bill Bass, the founder of the Body Farm at the University of Tennessee. He's 92.
I've read all of his books.
Have you?
I've read all of the Jefferson Bass novels.
All right. Well,
I
also
love
you should
them.
read the nonfiction ones too. Those are pretty good.
I haven't read those yet.
The Beyond the Body Farm and Death's Acre. Those are really
Ooh.
good. So, this.
Are we back, or are we just?
I guess that is the end of the commercial for bonezones.com. Thanks to Susan Seals for not knowing that I was doing this commercial. But when I write my book, I'm going to ask her to sell it.
That'd be awesome.
Because she's always saying, you got to do something I can sell.
Well,
All right. So
we're
now
trying, Susan.
So we are back to the Krisha and Frank podcast,
Mhm.
Krisha and Frank show, krishaandfrank@gmail.com,
That's
and
us.
Podbean, and Krisha and Frank on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and I guess you're going to make us a TikTok.
Yeah, I'm gonna make us a TikTok.
All right.
And Krisha is spelled Krisha, and Frank is spelled Frank.
And the "and" is "and" because
There's no ampersand.
I would ampersand it if you were looking at it, but
Mhm.
on all the names, when it's twitter.com and instagram.com and facebook.com/Krisha and Frank spelled out.
Yeah.
All right, so do like us and subscribe to us, and I guess that'll be the YouTube too. I have to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're looking at an aerial view of my house on Google Maps, and as you can see, they've taken whiteout. It's like
That
or
is
liquid
really
paper,
weird.
and they have made two very
Two-
poorly drawn. I mean, my grandson Artie would have done a better job of this.
Why would they do that?
I don't know, because
That's really strange.
that's where my car sat for, I guess, a year and a half. I'd have to think about it. I guess it was a year and a half.
That's how I got my car.
It was sitting in someone's driveway for a year.
It sat in the yard
Years.
next to someone's driveway for almost 2 years, to where the tires were completely rotted out. It had wasps' nests, squirrels' nests.
Yes, mine
It had
had
mice.
Mine had wasps under the engine, and I remembered it as the guy was pulling away. I'm like,
"Ah."
oh well, never too late.
It was a non-used car. It was a non-used used car, and
What should I do with all the oil? I used to have to put oil in it so often that I have extra motor oil.
I don't know.
All right, do you want some?
you want
Can
some
you use
oil?
it for your car?
Probably.
Because it's the wrong kind for my new car.
It might. I don't know. Maybe.
All right, well you can have it.
Thanks.
But anyway, so your car was in some guy's driveway.
Right.
Did it survive the Gatlinburg fire? The
It
car
survived the Gatlinburg
Does
fire.
it look burny?
No, the house did not survive the Gatlinburg
But
fire.
the car, does the car look like ashy or
No.
burny, or what would you call it? I mean, smoky.
No, it does not look damaged in any way, except for it sat in Gatlinburg, which is very damp,
Yeah.
and it
It's a
sat
tropical.
under
Did you know
trees.
that the what do you call it? The Great Smoky Mountains qualifies as some not tropical, but it's a different type of rainforest,
Yeah,
ecologically speaking.
and it had mushrooms growing in it and moss.
Those might have been from the previous owner, the mushrooms.
Maybe they
All
might
right.
have been.
All right.
But yeah, that's how I
Okay.
got it. That's
Wow. Well, I thought that Dave Fennell or somebody would want.
Dave Fennell.
Oh, he's in the. I do improv with him.
Dave Fennell.
He's good with cars. You should
Is
talk
he?
to him.
I'll have to look him up.
Yeah. I'm supposed to have lunch with him at the Holy Land sometime real soon.
You should. He works right next to me.
I know. That's
Wait,
why I picked it.
Dave Fennell.
But anyway, I thought maybe he would want to buy this car off me, or that my brother-in-law, who has dozens of Hondas, seems like for everyone in the family up there,
Yeah,
used Hondas. I thought maybe they would want it. But it just got to be too much trouble.
it's a pain.
And I just got rid of it, and they $200, and it was over so quick.
Typically, you have to pay somebody else to come take that away. So the fact that you got paid for them to come get it, that's bonus.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's good then.
it is very good.
All right. So let's talk about the actual topic of today's show, which
Yeah.
is exercising. You've been running. You
You
said
keep
you.
looking at my booty.
Well, I'm trying to remember. That's how I remember. I'm a visual learner. Like, what's the topic? Oh yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah,
it is.
there's your butt.
There it is down there. That's how I remember things. I have to visually learn them.
Unfortunately, or fortunately. So throughout pandemic, like I told you, that I wanted to ask you a question of what have you started doing or stopped doing post-pandemic, pandemic land, that when we go back to normal, I say with quotation marks around it, that you're going to either continue doing or that you won't pick back up.
Well, stopping is probably watching TV. I used to watch a lot of TV, and I lost interest in it. I mean, we watched some stuff, like we binge watched the Ozark and the Tiger King and
Right.
that
was early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when the weather got nice, I thought, well, I'll go outside.
That's almost
You know?
the opposite of what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are now, that's all they're doing is watching a lot of TV.
Yeah, but I lost something about it, especially the local news. I used to watch the local news and regular news and things, occasionally, because you want to, I don't know.
Sorry, local news.
Well, no, I watch it, but I watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll subscribe. Two of the local channels, two of the three channels, are very good on YouTube. So I'll scroll through and I read the headline. And today, actually, because I knew you were coming, I must have watched way more local news. I probably watched almost 4 minutes of stories.
Right.
Because that was about it. Then I had enough.
Yeah.
But I watch them just on YouTube, and if I'm not interested, I stop it and get rid of it and move to the next one.
Do you think it's a focus thing for you? Do you think that not watching shows and stuff is that it's harder to focus? It's harder to engage?
I realize how much time they waste, how much time they are spinning their wheels to get to whatever. I mean...
It's like, let's get down to business.
In a newscast, I mean, they are filling these enormous windows of time because it's good business. When you have all of the local avails and you're selling all the commercials instead of having to split them with Ellen or Kelly Clarkson or NBC or ABC or whomever. It's good business to have a big chunk of locally produced time that you can sell.
Right.
But, if you were to take, I mean, this was what happens. If you were to take that 2 hours of news from 4 to 6 in the afternoon, or 4 to 6:30, really, 2.5 hours of afternoon news, you can just obviously distill it down to a few YouTube videos that I can watch, and they tell me this one's only 15 seconds or this one's a minute and a half.
Sweet.
And I don't even have to watch the ones I don't want to see.
So you're not going to go back to watching...
Right. But I may add on... Oh, and I hate to say this, because if I say it now, it's going to be recorded.
It is in perpetuity.
The yard work.
I mean, we're getting into leaf season.
Yeah. See, I have always ignored all of this. We pay a guy to mow the lawn. We pay him to come by and mulch the leaves one time a year. And I don't rake. I don't rake the leaf ever. I used to when we first moved here, but I stopped.
You're technically not supposed to, right? It's
Exactly.
better to mulch them.
It's better to have the guy mow them down and mulch them up.
Guy.
But my next door neighbor, if you look over to your right and look kind of to the back there,
Ooh,
she
look at
who is a retired third grade teacher, has single-handedly attacked her overgrown backyard.
It's beautiful.
I know. And you can't even, and going back deeper, she has regained almost probably I'll say an acre of property. It's an exaggeration, but she has regained so much of her yard back
by working it.
She rented a dumpster, a giant dumpster, which she filled 3 times over. The first time they told her it was 1,000 pounds of yard waste that she had single-handedly carried and put in there. So then she said to me, I'm getting the dumpster again if you want to throw in some of yours, because she enticed me to do this part of my own property that is next to hers.
Well, yeah. She's like, I'm doing all this work, buddy.
So I got out there, and I still have a lot more to go, but she's satisfied that at least the part up to the property line, or beyond that part, it's not overgrown again. Because
we're talking, you live in a wooded neighborhood, so your yard's not just all trees, but what you're pointing out, what you're talking to, is that underbrush.
Yeah, this wheat that have grown into trees, these red buds and privet hedge and something honeysuckle. So all of that, and I did stuff around the other side, mostly focusing on her side of the property. But I've also started working on that side, and I hate it. I despise it. But I get out there and I'm dripping with sweat, like it's like a waterfall of sweat coming down in front from my eyebrows. I guess that's why people wear headbands. I didn't think about that. Yeah. So I drench myself in sweat. I'm so just dripping. I'm literally dripping. But then it occurs to me that all those times I went to the gym
to lift weights or to work
out,
the
weights are
cardio.
Still there. The weights are still where I put them. They're still there where they were when I started. We accomplished nothing. The weight, whereas this hundreds and hundreds of pounds of tree weight and whatever you want to call it, weight that I've moved is gone.
Right.
Or some of it I've thrown over the back fence into those woods.
And it's where you, not only are you physically active and it feels good, even though you hate it, it feels good. Like, ultimately, it's the same reason you would go to the gym, is because ultimately you feel better physically and mentally. But this is even better because you have a visual representation of what you have done.
That is true.
Yeah.
So therefore, as much as I find it odd, I'm getting better at gardening, and in the next episode, maybe we can talk about how my beloved wife, suggested strongly that I scare away potential deer, raccoons, scavengers who appeared to be chewing on our baby peach tree that I got for my birthday.
Yeah, you gotta take care of your peach tree.
Yeah, well, you know how my wife suggested I frighten away the...
Shoot them.
Not exactly. Not exactly. No, it has to do with show them who's boss. Gotta mark the territory.
Oh,
so we'll get to that in the next episode of the Krisha and Frank Show.
Oh, your beloved wife.
I can't even believe that she would suggest that.
Yeah, the only visual representation of what I plan to continue running. Much like you hate yard work, I hate running. I hate it, but I started doing it during quarantine pandemic. I would go to the Greenway every day. I would make myself go walk. And then one day...
You should bring mace on that Greenway, just something.
No, it's fine.
The one that you go to?
It's fine.
Our friend Werner got beat up on that one.
It's fine.
All right.
I know people. I see the same people every day.
Okay.
We wave.
You probably see my friend Werner. I bet he's over there.
I
found a picture of him.
Does he still go there? He got beat up.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
He was on the news. He got beat up so bad. Yeah.
I'm good.
All right.
But yeah.
All right. So thank you for liking, subscribing, finding our videos, and listening to our audio as you drive around East Tennessee or wherever you are in the world. It's Krisha and Frank, and we'll be back again with another episode real soon.
Bye.